Hi everyone! My name is Steve, I'll get to that in a second, but I just want to let you know that this show will be recorded because obviously I host a Pokemon podcast. So for all of you that are here, let everyone know that's not here that this is amazing, so can I get like a round of applause or something? Sweet. So before we start today's show, there's a couple things I want to run down. Of course, the show is called It's Super Effective. I've been doing it for about 3 years, and it's been weird. It's been weird mostly because I didn't think the show would ever get as big, and I didn't think I'd see all of you sitting in front of me. That's kind of weird, but this is the 3rd year we've been at C2E2, so we make you guys clap a lot. Can we get another applause for how awesome C2E2 is? So for those of you that don't know, that is the Twitter that you can follow. We just tweet articles, and when the show is live, that's also our Facebook. As for me, I actually just recently won an award for podcasting. Like I said, I've been doing it for a couple of years, and the easiest way to win an award, I figured out, is to complain a lot. So I'm an award-winning podcaster, which is kind of cool, but I do other stuff as well. But before we dive too far into things, oh yeah, this is where I click one more time. Today's my 2-year anniversary with my girlfriend. So I'm spending it on stage. Is it weird if I ask for an applause for her? I reached you. And you guys are going to leave and be like, this guy just made us clap all the time. He didn't really talk. Alright, the other thing I'm doing that's kind of cool is last year I hosted an art show in Milwaukee called 649 Monsters, and what it was is it was a community-based art show where we had artists from all over the world, Japan, Australia, Canada, Mexico. They donated art, which was really cool because I can't afford to pay anyone. But we had over 80 pieces, and we raised about $1,000 for Child's Play because we sold the art for charity. And we're doing it again this year, but since there are now more than 649 Pokemon, we can't call it that anymore. So we're calling it Battle City, and it's on Kickstarter right now, and it ends May 1st. We've already hit our goal, so I'm not going to stand up here and beg for money. I just want you guys to be aware that the art show will take place on August 2nd and 3rd in Milwaukee again. And this artwork will feature Pokemon battle scenes, so what Pokemon do best, battles. And if you pledge like $25 on the Kickstarter, you get a piece of the artwork that you'll only be able to get through Kickstarter. And again, it ends May 1st. If you go to Kickstarter and type in Pokemon or you type in Battle City, you'll get it. But just wanted to let you guys know that exists. And now it's time to start the show. So it's always weird to kind of do live shows because, I don't know, most of you guys probably have never heard of the show unless there are some. Hands up if you listened to It's Super Effective. Okay, couple people. We're a really bad show, so it's good that you guys don't listen to it. So it's always weird to pick topics. Usually we focus on news, but some of you guys are more into the older Pokemon. Some of you guys are into the newer Pokemon. So instead of doing like the news and talking about, I don't know, Pokedex stuff, we're going to talk about Pokedex stuff, but in this form of Pokedex entries. And I want to start off with Abra, because Abra's pretty cool looking. And I saw this on Tumblr. Sure. So the question was, do you believe there's going to be a Mew 3? Nintendo, or Pokemon I should say, did show a Mewtwo looking like Pokemon on their actual website if you go to Pokemon.com. They did confirm it's actually a new type. I believe they confirmed that last week. Or not a new type. Oopsie. All about the types. A new form. And they confirmed that a week or two ago. So yes, prior to that, people thought it was going to be a Mew 3, or a Mewtwo 3, or a Mew 3DD, or a Mewtwo, I heard that too. I wanted it to be a Mew 3, honestly. I did want it to be like a third one in the stage, and they can have like a little triple battle duel against each other. But they didn't do that, they gave it a new form instead, and I guess I would be the one of the first to say that I don't really dig new forms, like Keldeo that switches. Yeah, that's kind of cool, but just give me new Pokemon instead of new forms. But it is a form of Mewtwo, so nothing to do with Mew.
In some of the games of Pokemon, there's sometimes like a couple different side legendary Pokemon. How, like, do you think that's annoying in some way?
Oh, absolutely. Listen, when you start working like 40 hours a week and then you go home and you're like, Kyurem was all the way over here. No deal. You trade for that in the future. Yeah, I do think it's annoying to go out of the way to catch Pokemon and doing all these side quests, but I guess that's how they keep you playing, right?
Speak up, man.
What types would you think these new legendary Pokemon would be?
Oh, sure, awesome, excellent question. So what types do I think the two new Pokemon on the screen? Yes. I've already thrown out the two types I believe in, which are the love/fairy type, whatever you want to call it, and then the other one is sound type. I do believe those two new types are coming in Gen 6. But we have Xerneas, which is the blue deer-looking Pokemon, and then we have Yveltal, which is the red bird, and I probably said their names completely wrong, but that's what Pokemon gets for coming up with ridiculous names. So I think that Xerneas is going to fall under the fairy/love type, and I think it would combine well with like grass, because they showed it in a forest, I believe. And Yveltal, I believe, is going to be the sound type. So, of course, when these two Pokemon were introduced, all this fan art came out. Everyone started making fan arts and plushies and had their speculation. But a lot of people did research on what these Pokemon are based off of, and for those of you that don't know, a lot of Pokemon are based off of myth or mythology or things you see at the zoo. And apparently that bird that Yveltal is based off of is supposed to be based, I think, off Roman mythology, but whether that is wrong or right, they said the bird is actually supposed to be blind. And I don't know if you guys watched the trailer over and over, but actually they both have one red eye and one blue eye, which obviously shows that they have some kind of relationship together. But because he's supposed to be blind, I then, again, still believe that he's going to be sound type, because if you're blind and you're flying, you probably need some sort of sound to base that off of. So I would probably say sound dark or sound flying, however they want to make that type combination. Mudkip hat.
Any speculations on what the second type of starters will be, and do you think we'll finally escape the firefighting starters?
Yes, firefighting. I do. So I think Fennekin is going to be straight fire, actually, for the first time in a while. I think Froakie is going to be just pure water again, because I don't see what else you can add to a frog unless they make it like sound because of its ribbits. And then I do think Chespin will have a dual type. I think Chespin will be grass ground or grass fighting, somewhere in there, because of its claws. I think it's pretty important that Nintendo actually gave it claws and it's not based off a reptile like the last couple starters were. It kind of looks like a gopher or a chipmunk or something like that. So yeah, so that's what I think for those new types. Way in the back.
What's your favorite Pokemon?
My favorite Pokemon? Oh man, I get that question asked a lot. My favorite Pokemon changes probably on a weekly basis, but if I was to be put on the spot like you just did now, I would say that my favorite Pokemon is Farfetch. And I hope Farfetch gets a new evolution. Right here.
If you could improve the online battling system, how would you do it?
Where would I start? Not disconnecting at first. I'm trying to think of a game that connects pretty well together, and I can't really think of one, but I wish when you were playing Pokemon, in your Pokédex or Pokégear, whatever you want to call it, your friends list could be active right there. So if you're connected to the internet at all times, which the DS is supposed to be, about, when a friend signs on, it lights up in your Poke Gear and lets you know that he's on. So then you can then you don't have to like pre-plan your battles or your trades. Whereas back in Red and Blue, it was like you go to school, you bring your link cable, you're good to go. But now it's like, I have to jump on Skype, I have to jump on Facebook, I have to let somebody know that I want to trade or I want to do this. Whereas if you develop a friends list and you're walking through the game and you see that Peggy Sue jumps online, you can go, hey Peggy Sue, I got a Machop, I'm looking for your airbrush. And then you can trade easily. So I think if they just integrated a friends list and made Pokemon more social, that's what I would like to see. Will we see that? I don't know, ever, but so many questions. All right here.
Do you think X and Y is going to be completely confusing, like black and white? Like when you got white, you got Zekrom. When you got black, you got Chiron. Like the other games, you got silver, you got Lugia.
Yeah. So the question was, do you think that they're going to be backwards like they did for black and white? Yeah, probably. Nintendo likes to do that too. With X and Y though, I do think, and I've voiced this opinion before on my show, that X and Y is kind of like the Johto, and black and white is like the Kanto. So they did the refresh with black and white, so they got all the new Pokemon, so they got a whole bunch of people to start playing again. And now they're introducing X and Y, and with the new types presumably coming out that I think, so just like Johto added 2 new types in a new region, I think that this is going to add 2 new types in a new region, and I think it's going to tie back together, so hopefully that we can go back and explore Unova, because this is the first 3D game we're getting, and let's be honest, black and white looks like it should be made for 3D, especially when you walk into Castelia City. So because it's already pre-built and they built it twice, I think at the end of X and Y, you would go back to Unova. So that's kind of not answering your question completely, but that's what I think. Over here.
Do you think that they're going to make a game where you visit all the past regions at once?
No, because then you wouldn't buy other games. The question was, do you think they're going to make a game where you can do all the regions? I would hope. I don't know if any of you guys played the new Mystery Dungeon? Oh, a couple people, okay. It's not that good. It's an okay game. The cool thing about Mystery Dungeon is they add dungeons pretty much on a weekly basis. And Nintendo is starting to dive into that $1.99 or 99-cent price range. So if you're playing Mystery Dungeon, which is like the Pokemon version of Diablo, you walk into a dungeon and it generates differently every time. You can buy new dungeons with new Pokemon for like $2, so you can keep playing and they keep getting your money. So to tie that back to a new Pokemon game, just think about that X and Y will be the first Pokemon game that we can have this downloadable content. So if Nintendo wants to add a new cave or a new seaport or another island, they can technically do it now. And they could probably charge you, $2 for a Great Ball now, or $5 to go to an island, and that can be added to the game. So they could add older regions for a price, but I don't think they would ever release that as a standalone.
Yeah, and like the three-way team battle, who do you think would win between these two, the 3 legendary dogs and the 2 legendary birds?
So the 3-way battle between these two, the 3 legendary dogs, are you talking about Suicune, Entei, and Raikou? And the 2 legendary birds, Ho and Lugia? For sure, Ho and Lugia. Ho makes rainbows. Come on, these guys ain't got nothing on that. And everyone loves Lugia, right? I feel like Lugia is super popular, so he can't lose. Right here?
Do you think Flareon will ever get Flare Blitz?
No, never. Flareon, and our camera guy loves Flareon. So everyone say hi to Aaron. He loves Flareon, but Flareon gets 0 love in the Eevee evolution. Vaporeon gets a little more love, but that's barely little. You gotta be like Jolteon or Espeon to do that.
There's rumors going around of a Pokemon RPG. Do you think that would happen, and if so, how much?
Like a World of Warcraft style almost, where like trainers are walking around together, right? Yeah, so the question was, do you ever think there'll be a Pokemon RPG? Do I think so? Honestly, no. And the reason is because Pokemon Company and Nintendo are very reserved when it comes to security and making sure your children don't meet strangers online, which is awesome. Because I'm not one to play Call of Duty and get derogatory names thrown at me just because I'm trying to play. So Pokemon is of course against that. There have been fan-made RPG-like games, and most of the time they're broken or they don't work, and it's kind of annoying when you're like trying, and I've played some of them where you're like trying to catch a Caterpie in the grass and another trainer just comes up and catches it and runs off. And you're just like, oh my god, like, this is real life. Clocks are going to go backwards. Drifloons are going to take me away. Over here.
What is your dream team?
My dream team? My dream team has terrible stats. So of course Farfetch would be on it. Gold Duck would be on it. Pretty awesome. I would probably have Organzy, they're pretty legit. Chandelier, I'm a big fan of Chandelier. I'm also a big fan of Beartick, and he has terrible stats. And then the last one would probably be Ditto. I think Ditto is pretty legit, but he has terrible stats. Well, the new Imposter where he transforms when he comes out, that's really cool. And the purple. Yeah.
Are they always going to be doing the basic fire, water, and grass for like each one? Like this 90, 10 thing and Ashwat or black and white version 2?
Yeah. So you think they're always going to do that? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I don't think they're ever going to get away. I remember prior to Black and White, people were like, oh, they're going to do dark fighting ghosts, and that's going to be so cool. And then we got Oshawott and Tepig and Snivy. I don't think they're ever going to go away from that formula because it's a classic formula. The only thing that broke that mold was the Pokemon Yellow. And unless the anime gets as big as Pokemon Yellow as it did when Pokemon Yellow came out, I think we're always going to get the fire, water, grass.
I was wondering what some of your ideas for new evolution for your 150.
Oh, for the original 150. Yeah, so the question was evolutions for the original 150. So first, of course, Farfetch deserves an evolution. Will he get it? Probably not. But if he did, I think he would be like a samurai duck. So his leek would turn into a sword, right? And then he would have a cool like baller samurai hat, and he would be like grass, like flying grass duck type or something like that. Other evolutions is I feel like Pinsir, and Pinsir needs an evolution to complement Scyther. And I know there was a rumor going around about a fake Jinx evolution that somebody actually mocked up, but I do feel like Jinx needs an evolution because Jinx is a pretty cool Pokemon. It got a lot of flack back in like 2000 and everything because of its design, but Jinx is actually pretty cool. It's Psychic Ice. It has a baby form. I feel it deserves an evolution, and I felt like that artist that did do that fake Jinx, I felt like they went in the right direction of Jinx should be like a gypsy-like Pokemon. I think that's pretty cool. Other than that, it would be cool to see Snorlax get an evolution as well. I don't know. Because we already have Munchlax, and we have Snorlax. We can always get something bigger, like Wailord-sized Snorlax. Because Snorlax can't eat a Wailord yet, but he could in the future. Right here.
So to get the spin-offs like Mystery Dungeon and Pinball, is there any kind of spin-off game you'd like to see, besides obviously Pokemon Snap 2?
Maybe I'll get a lot of flack for this, but I would love to see another Pokemon trading card game. I thought that was really cool back in the day, and now I started playing the card game again, and you're just throwing money away. You're just spending $100 every 3 months to buy a box. And your cards are worthless at the after a year, so it's like they made another card game and they let me pay 99 cents to download a booster pack. I'd probably do that, but Pokemon's very cool with their PETCGO online, which is always broken. Other than that, I would like to see another Pokemon Pinball. And I would like to see another Hey You Pikachu. No, I'm just kidding. I would like to see another Hey You Pikachu. No one wants that. Right here. Yep.
Is there any, the Froakie, Chespin, and the other one get evolutions? Do they get evolutions?
They will. So the question was, will Froakie, Chespin, and Fennekin get evolutions? They will. They won't show them, and they probably won't show them until closer to October. So they'll get the same ones like Samurott, Emboar, and oh gosh, what's the last one? What's the last one? That's Snake. Right next to you though. You had your hand up, right?
I have the same question.
Oh, okay, cool, same question. Two birds with one stone. Right here.
I was gonna say, what do you think of like how Nintendo is making like more
I'm glad that X and Y will finally be like the first 3DS game that's not like Pokemon Rumble Blast. I think that was the biggest issue I had with Black and White 2 is because it felt like it was made for the 3DS and it really wasn't. So playing Black and White 2 on my 3DS was just like painful. But I can't wait for the first Wii U Pokemon game, whatever that's going to be, which is probably going to be like Hey You Pikachu 2. Yeah, they're doing Rumble Blast again, which is cool. I don't really count that because it's the same game. But I would love to see like a Pokemon Snap using the Wii U controller. My Wii U has been collecting dust, and if you want to add me on it, that'd be sweet. I thought about Monster Hunter. We'll switch over to Monster Hunter show. You in the back. Yes, so Gyarados is flying dragon, I believe, right? No, flying water. So stupid. Yeah, so Gen 1 overall is a very broken game. But I do think that they should adjust Gyarados' type. I feel like a lot of Pokemon need type adjustments. Charizard is one. And I think this is where Gen 6 will come in. So I don't know if a lot of you remember when Johto got reintroduced, and this is back to my Gen 6 will be the Johto to, being the Kanto. When Johto got introduced, they went back and they changed Magnemite's type. So Magnemite used to be just electric, and then they changed it to electric steel when Steel got introduced. So I feel like when they introduce new types like Sound or Love, that they'll go back and they'll make like Clefairy and Chansey and Audino, they'll make those the love types, and they'll go back and they'll adjust like Loudred to Sound, and they'll do that to other Pokemon.
What Pokemon do you think that they should change?
Oh, sure. So, what Pokemon do I think should change if they were to edit old types? I think Gyarados and Charizard are, of course, right on the radar. Oh man, this is a tough question. You put me on the spot. I think they should adjust a lot of the flying Pokemon. So, in Red and Blue, almost every flying Pokemon is normal flying. And I feel like a lot of those should be adjusted to flying Sound or flying something else. Zubat, I think I heard. Zubat. I think Bidoof should get a new type. I think he should be Dragon Normal. But you put me on the spot, so that's the best I got. Jigglypuff, right here.
What other convenience options would you like to see come up? For example, like, I've been playing since Red and Blue, and when I first used Repel in the last game and it gave me the option right away to instantly use another one, I was amazed by that.
Yeah.
Like, I would like to see, like, when you're like using full restore on your guys, it doesn't let you go to another guy to use full restore, so that one's fully healed up. I'd like to just quickly scroll through, just random convenience.
Yeah, I think in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, they got it as close as perfect at the time, and then they went to Black and White, and I feel like they just messed it all up again.
Yeah, we're walking poison.
Yeah, and Black and White 2 kind of fixed that again, but yes, the menu system is broken. Do I think they're going to fix it? Yes, in X and Y, but I do feel like they're going to break more stuff in return. I I think what bothers me more than the item system is the PC box that I have to log in, deposit to, log out, log into, withdraw, then bring out to. I think that's more broken than anything. Yeah.
Why do you think that in Gen 1 instead of certain Pokemon that only evolve during generation? Why do they do that?
I think, so the question was, why do you think Pokemon only evolved through trade? I think they did that to make the social aspect higher, to like get you to play with the other person. It's a brilliant marketing scheme on Nintendo's part. It's like, we're going to make this game, we're going to make it again, but we're going to take 3 Pokemon out, put 3 Pokemon in, and then these people are going to buy both. And then we're going to do it one more time, and we're going to have a Pikachu follow them, and they're going to buy it again. And we all did, I did. Yeah, I think the trading is only for the fact of getting you to play with a friend. Nintendo wants you to have friends. They didn't do a very good job for me, but there's hope in all of us. But I would actually like to see more of that. Standard Evolution is great. I think the trading was super cool back when I was a kid. I still think it's super cool. I think Pokemon evolving through other means of just leveling was cool, and I feel like we've gotten far away from the Thunderstone and Firestone and Waterstone, and I feel like they should bring that back a little closer too.
How do you feel about the rising of EV and breeding?
Sure, breeding. I know, guys, this is a terrible show. I apologize. No, totally cool. So EV breeding, IV breeding, and just breeding in general, I think was broken. It was obviously made for those hardcore gamers that want their Pokemon to be the very best, like no one ever was. But it's there and people know about it, but then again, it's complicated. And so if I'm just playing Pokemon to collect Pokemon, that works. I don't have to dive deeper. I don't have to look at a Wikipedia article to understand that if I need to have the sun at a 45-degree angle and I need to be outside, 1 foot in the pool, and then I'll have the perfect Gyarados.
You have to be like a billion.
So I think that's completely broken, and people RNG, which is not technically cheating because they're not using any external device. But it makes it unfair because I have friends who they spend hours getting 4 perfect IVs, and they're super happy and they're super proud. And then I have friends who are RNG and they get that same Pokemon in less than 20 minutes once they learn how to do it. And that should be fair, especially in a competitive standpoint. If these people put in this much time, these people put in significantly less, and now they're equal. I think what Nintendo needs to do is clearly lay that out and have that as an option. So if you don't care, great, you don't care. Some of us, like me, I don't care about IVs or EVs, so I just play the game as I play the game. But at least make it a equal level playing field for everyone who wants to be competitive to have that done, whether that's, giving your Slowpoke a max potion to hold as he goes into the daycare and that increases. So what they can do to fix that, I don't know, but it shouldn't be a semi-hidden system that it has been for the last 2 generations.
Do you think they'll ever have it to where you can catch some of the older starters, like in the newer generations? So
Sure.
like you could never get Squirtle, for instance, after the first.
Yeah, you played Red and Blue and there was no Squirtle squad ever walking around. And they're like, where's this forest? Well, with all these Bulbasaurs. It was in the anime. Do I think they'll ever do that? Probably not, because that's their way to get you to buy certain games and trade to that. I like there was an article with the developers of the game, and they talked about how Pokemon should be kind of like family heirlooms. You should be able to, collect them and then trade them up until you get to Ruby and Sapphire, and then you gotta start over again. So you trade them up to every game, and if you're an adult and you've been playing Pokemon for so long, you can then tell your kids, like, this was the Bulbasaur I caught, this was the Bidoof I caught, and they could now see that pattern of this is how you raised it, this is what the moves you gave it. So they're kind of they want you to take these Pokemon with you as you keep playing the game. The problem with that is trading up the hassle. If your game gets corrupt, you lose all your Pokemon. If you drop it in a cup of water, you're done for. I would like to see more of that, or an easier way to ensure that these Pokemon that I have put so much time into are safe forever. And I don't know if we're quite there yet, but I don't think they'll ever make the starters like wild Pokemon, because once you get the starter and you develop that time with it and raise it, they want you to keep it and, you know, either trade it or always have it in future games. Right back here? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, are you going to be able to adjust the clock like in Diamond?
Oh, for older games, no. For newer games, you can absolutely cheat and adjust the clock. You can be your own Kadabra. But for the older games, unless the clock was built into the system, I think is what the clock is based off of, you won't be able to adjust it for those older ones. But for the newer ones, yes.
Yeah, well,
Right here?
Yes, I was wondering, do you think that they're going to make a Hoenn remake? Because I was kind of hoping that those...
Oh, instead of X and Y. So the question was, do you think they'd make a Hoenn remake, which is Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald?
Yeah.
I do think they will make it. And the reason I think they'll make it is because it's, one, not only easy money. They're reselling us the same game that they've been doing for the last 15 years. But I do think they'll remake it because I think that community, that the people who started with Hoenn, or the people who, you know, just love Hoenn, they deserve that. And I thought the Heart Gold Soul Silver was an amazing remake, and it obviously got a lot of people back into Pokemon. So I think we'll see Hoenn after this, and I would like to see it after this. But I don't see it in the next year or so, but I do see it in the future. At least that's what I want. Yeah, time for 2 more questions. We're here all night? Alright. We'll just go until you guys start emptying out. Alright. Yep.
Do you think they're going to make another Pokemon XD or Coliseum?
Yes, absolutely. I would rather see a Pokemon Snap instead, but I don't know what that would entail. I would love, more than anything, instead of a XD or a Gale of Darkness or Coliseum or whatever they want to call it, I would love to see a Pokemon Stadium 3. Alright, we'll do one more. Right here in the back.
Please do
A triple what? I don't think we'll see that. So the question was, do you ever think there'll be a triple type Pokemon? I don't think we'll see that. But wouldn't it be cool if in Gen 6 they do a 4th evolution? What if Charizard evolved? I think that could be more doable than that 3rd type. But I think a pre-evolution or a 4th evolution would be easier to do, at least for everyone. Sweet. So that's kind of been the show. Again, my name is Steve. I host it. Super effective. Thank you all for coming out and spending your Sunday here. Again, we're doing the Kickstarter, so if you guys like to throw away money, I'm more than willing to take it for charity. Other than that, can we just get a round of applause? iTunes, on the website, which has always been at the bottom of this panel, and in Stitcher Radio, if you guys use Stitcher, which is a radio app. Cool. Thank you so much for coming out.